I want to tell you about a conversation I have had hundreds of times in my therapy room. A woman sits across from me. She has been in her relationship for years, sometimes decades. She tells me something she has never said out loud to anyone, not to her closest friend, not to her sister, and absolutely not to the man she shares her life with. She is curious about something intimate, something she has thought about quietly, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. And every time she considers bringing it up, something stops her. Not shame about the thought itself. What stops her is this: she has no idea how he will react. And she has learned, through small moments he probably does not even remember, that the safest thing to do with this part of herself is keep it hidden. The curiosity stays buried. The relationship stays exactly where it is, and something that could have brought them genuinely closer quietly disappears. Today I want to talk about what is really driving that silence, what the research tells us, and most importantly, what kind of man she is actually waiting for. Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Lila Romano, marriage counselor, intimacy therapist, and relationship psychology specialist with over 15 years of clinical experience working with couples at every stage of relationship. This channel exists because honest, science-grounded conversations about intimacy are not a luxury. They are a necessity, and they are conversations most men in long-term relationships have never had with anyone. Today's conversation is specifically for men who want to understand their partner more completely and who are ready to become the man she genuinely opens up to. Most men dramatically underestimate how common it is for women in long-term established relationships to carry intimate curiosity they have never voiced to their partner. Research published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior and studies by Dr. Debbie Herbenek at Indiana University consistently document a significant gap between what women privately feel curious about and what they have actually communicated to their partner. And this gap is most pronounced not in new relationships, but in established ones. Relationships where comfort has ironically made certain conversations feel more risky, not less. Here is the specific finding I want you to sit with. Multiple large-scale, nationally representative studies have found that women between 40 and 59 report higher levels of sexual curiosity, broader openness to intimate exploration, and greater desire for deeper physical and emotional connection than women in their 20s and early 30s. The popular cultural assumption that intimate curiosity fades with age is directly contradicted by the data. Women in mature relationships are frequently more curious, not less. They have lived enough life to know what they want. What they are often still waiting for is a partner who has built the kind of relationship where bringing those desires forward feels genuinely safe. When I explore with women why specific intimate curiosity has stayed unexpressed, sometimes for years, the same four themes emerge consistently. Reason 1, she is waiting for the right container. Attachment theory tells us that humans only bring their most vulnerable material into spaces that feel genuinely secure. Not just loving, genuinely secure. Dr. Sue Johnson, one of the most respected researchers in couples therapy, describes this as being the safe haven for your partner, the place where their full self is welcomed rather than managed. Many women describe unexpressed intimate curiosity not as being about the desire itself, but about not yet feeling their relationship is a safe enough container for it. They love their partner, they trust him in most ways, but something, sometimes a small moment years earlier, has signaled that this particular part of themselves needs to stay protected. Reason 2, the anatomy is real. The pudendal nerve, the primary sensory nerve of the entire pelvic region, branches into 3 distinct pathways that create genuinely overlapping, amplifying sensations across different areas of the body. This is documented neuroanatomy, not psychology. Research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine involving nationally representative samples consistently documents that significant percentages of women report genuine physical pleasure from forms of intimate touch they have been culturally taught to consider peripheral or taboo. When your partner has curiosity about something unexpected, there is frequently a real physiological basis for it. Her body is responding to anatomy. Dismissing that curiosity, even gently, is dismissing something rooted in her physical reality. Reason 3, the psychology of shared exploration. Researcher Meredith Chivers distinguishes between spontaneous desire, arousal that arises independently of context, and responsive desire, arousal that develops in response to emotional connection and feeling genuinely seen. Men in long-term relationships tend towards spontaneous, Women tend toward responsive. This means that for many women, intimate curiosity is not primarily about a specific act. It is about what exploring something new together means for the relationship. Researchers call this erotic intimacy, the way that sharing something genuinely private creates a specific quality of closeness that ordinary shared experience does not produce. Reason 4, she wants more of you. In 15 years of couples therapy, women who finally voice long-held intimate curiosity describe the underlying motivation the same way. They were not bored. They were not seeking something their relationship was missing. They wanted to expand the emotional and physical landscape they shared with this specific person. When your partner brings you something intimate and unexpected, she is telling you that you have earned something rare. That is not a red flag. In the language of attachment theory, it is one of the deepest expressions of secure connection one person can offer another. Why she still hasn't told you. Research on sexual communication barriers consistently identifies the same primary obstacle. Not shame about the desire, fear of his reaction, fear of being laughed at, fear of being seen differently, fear that her openness will be treated as permission rather than as an invitation. Here is something honest that most men need to hear. Many good, loving men have unknowingly trained their partners to keep certain things quiet. Not through cruelty, through small, unremarkable moments she cataloged without him ever knowing. The time she said something slightly unexpected and he went quiet. The time she suggested something and he changed the subject too quickly. The time she made a small comment and his response, affectionate but slightly dismissive, made her feel just slightly like she had said something that did not belong. She remembered each of those moments. Over time, they built a picture in her nervous system of where the edges of safety are in your relationship. Researchers call this a chilling effect on sexual communication, a well-documented pattern where one partner's past responses create lasting suppression of the other's future disclosure, completely independent of whether the first partner intended that outcome. You may have created this without ever knowing it. Most men have. The important thing is not guilt about the past. It is understanding that you have the power to change the dynamic starting today. 5 principles for becoming the man she tells everything to. Principle 1. Create deliberate space. Intimate communication almost never happens naturally in established relationships. What the research shows is that intentional space, deliberately created openings with no specific agenda, dramatically increases disclosure. A walk, a screen-free evening. These are the conditions under which the nervous system relaxes enough to take emotional risks. Principle 2. Ask with openness, not agenda. Dr. John Gottman's research found that partners consistently and accurately detect the emotional agenda behind questions, even when the words appear neutral. Genuine curiosity sounds, feels, and lands completely differently from curiosity that is quietly lobbying for a specific answer. Ask because you genuinely want to know. Principle 3. Validate before you respond. If your partner shares something intimate and unexpected, the absolute worst first response is your opinion, even if it is enthusiastic. She did not share it to get your verdict. She shared it to be seen. The words are simple. Thank you for telling me that. I am glad you felt like you could bring that to me. Research on responsive listening shows that partners who feel genuinely acknowledged before being evaluated are significantly more willing to disclose again in the future. Let validation come first, always. Principle 4. Let her own the pace completely. When a woman shares intimate curiosity, she is not announcing a decision. She is opening a door. The person who determines how far that door opens, how quickly, and in what sequence is her. Fully. Completely, without negotiation. The men who damage this process are the men who interpret openness as acceleration, who hear curiosity and immediately move toward action. This response, however well-intentioned, communicates that the safety she felt was not actually safety. Patience in this context is not passive. It is one of the most powerful demonstrations of genuine respect available to you. Principle 5. Learn together. One of the most intimate things a couple can do is learn something new together. Reading together, watching clinically informed content together, occasionally working with a couples therapist. These are acts of partnership that signal you are navigating this as a team, and the learning process itself becomes part of the intimacy. The question was never whether your partner has desires she has not fully voiced to you. The research tells us she almost certainly does. The question was always whether you had built the kind of relationship where she felt safe enough to bring them forward. That is entirely within your power. Not through a grand gesture, not through a single conversation, but through the cumulative, consistent, daily choice to be genuinely present, to receive what she brings with care rather than agenda, and to signal through your patience and your warmth that her complete self is not just tolerated in your relationship, it is welcomed, it is wanted. That man, the one she has been quietly waiting to be able to tell everything to, you can be him, starting today. If this video opens something for you, please give it a like right now. Subscribe if you are not already here. I publish every week on relationship psychology, intimacy science, and the honest conversations most channels never have. Leave me a comment. Tell me what landed, what shifted, what you want to hear next. This community exists because of you. I am Dr. Lila Romano. I will see you in the next one.